Look how these new mics. We are in the new studio today.
We are in the new studio today.
These things, and look how that
the wobble,
the Weebles wobble.
Wobble. Shake,
it looks
shake.
like when you're taking a pee and you're shaking it off.
I can't identify with that, y'all.
So if
Once again, I'm out.
If I shake this more than 3 times, I'm playing with it.
You are playing with it if you shake your mic more than 3 times.
And we're live
With Paranormal Spirits, the place we come to get our booze on. We talk about the booze, the things that go bump in the night. And I get to do that with all my booze. I'm Mike Black. To my left is my lovely wife, Alyssa Black.
Hello.
Across the table from me, taking a swig of water right now, is my best friend, sidekick.
The lovely and talented
John Burkett. And tonight we are bringing you a story of a deserted, haunted hospital in the middle of Texas.
Right here in the great state of
Texas.
The
great state of Texas.
God's country, the greatest place on earth.
And
God's country.
This is lots and lots of stories of the hauntings, and lots of paranormal investigators have been there to investigate this hospital. John's got lots of stories about it. And before we get to that, we're going to talk about all the places you can come visit us on the web. If you're listening to us on a podcast, then you won't be able to tell that we're in our brand new studio setup, but if you're watching on YouTube, which is 3B Paranormal Spirits, you'll see that we have our new setup in here, and we got our boom mics, and we got our little wiggle things on our mics that keep it from shaking, and all kinds of cool stuff like that.
I just want you to know that you said Paranormal Spirits too.
For what?
When you introduced us.
I did?
You said Paranormal Spirits.
You jinxed me.
To the point that I was like, did I miss something? I thought I messed it up. Sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. So, if you're listening on the podcast, you can come see us on YouTube, and that's at 3B Paranormal Spirits.
No dash.
No dash. Okay.
We had to put the 3B on there because somebody else had already taken Paranormal Spirits.
Those two chicks.
Some chicks with like 3 videos.
Yeah, and they're not nearly as awesome as we are, but they're out there. And so we also have TikTok. We have Twitter. We have, or X, I guess now. X.
The X.
And Instagram. And if you want to see us there, some of our little shorts that we put out and stuff like that, and you can go there and look us up at paranormal _ spelled out DASH _ spirits. And it's the same for all of them. So if you go to any one of those 3, you'll be able to find us. We also have a website, which is paranormal-spirits.com. That's a landing page. You can get to everything from there. We also have a Facebook page. Please join. We have a group there, Booze with Benefits. That's BOOS, Booze with Benefits. And on our website, paranormal-spirits.com, you can go to our swag store, which I don't think I brought any swag in tonight to set up. Oh, John's got
I've got Boozy's koozie on this water.
John's got a boozy koozie.
On this delicious, refreshing water.
What happened to my
There's a coffee mug
koozie?
over there.
There's a coffee mug over there.
Yeah, I got a coffee mugs, and we got...
Last week, Mike and I wore ladies' racerback.
Yes, we did. We wore ladies' racerback tees in 2XL, and they were tight on us.
Y'all were rocking the sexy body.
They were rocking the dad bods. And we were, but you can pick all that good stuff up at Boozy's Boutiques, and I'll make sure that there's links in the video if you're on YouTube to check that out. So this is a show about spirits, and we talk about the kind that go bump in the night, and we also talk about
the booze with
the booze, BOOZE, booze. And Alyssa, tell us about what we're drinking tonight. It looks like we have a Blanco tequila.
We have El Tesoro Blanco
Puff,
tequila.
John said, puff, puff, pass.
We have done Tesoro before, but we did the Reposado, and this is the Blanco. We've,
But I got the light one this time.
The what one?
Got the light pour.
Well,
You're presenting, though.
Sir?
You're presenting.
Make
So
the
you need
carrot
to...
throwing me
Here
off.
you are.
We don't want-
No, you keep that.
You've touched it now.
It's mine now.
Tell us about Tesoro Blanco.
So I just found that on Tesoro's website. They have a sangrita recipe, which is what we'd make vampiritas with. Mm-hmm. And it has ancho chili and serrano peppers in theirs.
I thought you were going to say
yummy.
anchovies.
No, well, that's gross to me. But so this is our Blanco tequila is unaged and bottled immediately after distillation to capture the essence of our Highland Blue Weber agave.
Which, to me, Blancos, that's what I like. Or a mild reposado, like something that hasn't been...
The minerality of our soil and water shines through in this traditional agave-forward tequila. Crystal clear appearance. Aroma is...
sexy.
fresh agave. Mixed with honey.
No.
And a touch of green olive. I smell that, actually.
That's,
Okay,
I think
That's
when we
the aroma.
say things that
That's
then
the
you
aroma.
smell.
See, they think it's green olives because I get a little bit of ethanol in the smell, and they're maybe thinking it's coming from a martini. That's the olive they're
I
smelling.
don't know. I get the olive smell.
I think it's Kalamata olive. No, I'm just-
But we can taste it, and then I will describe what it says the taste sounds like.
All right. So here's two.
All right.
Cilantro.
Cilantro, sirs. It's
Oh,
tequila.
Yeah.
Sweet taste balanced
Yeah.
with agave, white pepper, and subtle green notes.
I get the green notes.
I do
And
too.
The finish,
Little
sweet with hints of white pepper. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know the difference between white and black pepper on a taste like this.
I
don't.
will say that this does not have a lot of pepper to it. I don't think. It's very smooth.
It's herby and agave.
I taste the agave and the herbaceousness, I guess.
Well, it's funny because I can't really compare it to the Reposado, really. I like them both. I just so happen to have compared them side by side at a restaurant, though. And really I preferred the Blanco.
Isn't there a bottle of this in the Reposado in there?
It is. You saying we should compare them?
We actually, was it last week or week? No, it wasn't last week because last week we did
The Weeble.
Don Roberto.
The bottle that does this.
Yeah, the Weeble Bobble.
I mean, I'm fine with getting it and comparing them if you'd like to do that.
But I get some herbaceousness, I guess, but it does.
Grassy, oh,
yeah, it's kind of grassy, but it's not Terramana grassy
No.
because I don't think anything could be.
No, this is more St. Augustine, whereas that's Bermuda, right? Or
I don't think that's. I don't think that's it. I think. No, I don't. It does. It's not unpleasant. Terramana, to me, was.
I don't find it unpleasant, but
I like this.
I don't want to talk too much smack about it since it's the Rock's tequila.
You might get
but
smacked down.
he might smack me down, but
y'all are a little more bougie than I am too on it. I mean, one of my favorites is Cabrito Reposado, which is a very light Reposado. It's not very dark, and it's $20 bottle, and it's fantastic. It literally has a goat on it because it is the goat.
yeah, this was not $20. I don't remember.
For the money, Don Julio Blanco is probably still the goat for.
Well, I will tell you the price point on this in 2 seconds.
What is that?
You trying to figure out what it tastes like? Mm-hmm. So this is going to retail you around $42.99.
It's about what we paid, I think.
Yeah,
It's
40.
about 40-ish. Okay. I like it. Not my favorite. And I think it's the herbaceousness.
No, I get
like
it. What
saying
you're
that.
talking about? Yeah.
Herbs.
The herbs.
The herbs.
I'm not hating on it.
No, I'm not hating on it. It's a good tequila. I don't think it's as good as other tequilas.
Do you like this better than the Reposado
I like the Reposado better.
of Tesoro? Mm-hmm. That's
See,
funny
and
because I don't think you said that at the restaurant when we had it.
I don't remember. It's been a few weeks since we had the
Yeah, a couple of weeks. 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I like the...
I ain't kicking it out of bed for eating crackers. So.
Well, I'm gonna go get the Reposado and then we can try it.
Are you really?
Yes, I am. Watch me. Watch
will.
me
She's
go.
gonna
Watch
walk
me
out.
walk.
She's gonna walk out of this. She's walking out of the studio.
Walking out.
Oh, she's pulling a.
I hope she's not pulling cords when she goes. So, John, now we can talk absolute smack about her because she's gone.
She'll see it though, unless you edit
No,
it
I
out.
can edit it out. She won't see it. I guess you brought glasses too.
Sure did.
So we're
The G4 is good, but
Here's the Tesoro.
so we're doing a side by side. Good Lord, glad I'm not driving. I think
You act like you're a lightweight.
no, I'm not a lightweight. You know I'm not.
I just haven't had tequila in a while. It's been 2 weeks
I'll tell you
since I've had any tequila.
what I really enjoy about the this Tesoro. And we always talk about part of the money in tequila's in the bottle, and this one has that old school grinding wheel that they push around to grind the agave.
The Reposado has that as the
Yeah, it has it as the stopper.
wasted.
Oh, okay.
It actually feels like stone on there.
It's a little wet now because
And I noticed
dripped
another
it.
thing,
Oh, yeah,
the
that's
Reposado's
cool.
just a little bit taller too, which I thought was
the
odd.
bottle shape is slightly different.
Yeah, this is one where I actually like the Reposado better. I can tell you right now.
I'm with you.
Side by side.
I agree.
Normally, I like the bottle, but you know what? Cabrito, I prefer the Reposado.
You can tell that it's the same juice.
Yeah,
You really can.
it just softens up that herbaceousness, some of the aging.
It does. Here.
Coralejo, I definitely
Cilantro?
prefer the Reposado. The Blanco is
Cilantro.
like drinking diesel.
See, now to me,
That's better, definitely.
that cuts some of that grassy herbal
It does.
taste
When you
out of
taste
it.
them, when you have them side by side, you can really,
Yeah.
really taste that.
That thing that I can't put my nose on, my
Tongue on.
finger on as to what exactly that taste is tampered down quite a bit in the Reposado.
Yes.
It's whatever they're talking about, these green notes. So I will say, the price difference at this one liquor store. So you're literally same liquor store. $42.99 for the Blanco, $55.99 for
Jesus.
the Reposado.
Okay. Yeah, that makes
so
sense.
about a $15 difference.
I can taste that difference. I really can.
And I mean, sometimes it's worth it. I mean, at least you're not talking like, you talk about something like Classe, and you're going to go from, 120, 160 to 350. So, I mean, at least this is.
Well, look at Mijenta. Mijenta starts off with their Blanco at $40. I'm just hitting my boom. I might get used to this boom mic. I apologize. It starts off at like $40 for the Blanco.
$48.99 at this one.
Okay. And then for the Reposado, it's $70-something.
Don Julio
coming on 80, and then you go to an Añejo and it's $200 a bottle, all in the same family, all the same juice.
Don Julio, the Blanco, my absolute favorite. I've had the Blanco and the Repo, and you can sometimes, if you shop around, you can get the Blanco for $35. Normally it's about $40, but I've seen it at Costco Liquors for $35.
Hey, bring your mic in just a bit, John.
And but then the Repo is like 60. So I mean, it's absurd. It's not very good.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So I'll tell you, like at the same place for Tesoro, that I said the difference is.
total.
Total Wine. Mijenta Blanco is $44.49. The Reposado is $65.99. So you're going up $20, and they don't even have the Añejo, but the Añejo at another place was $199.99.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's
So you're
$200.
jumping $150.
I knew it was.
So, alrighty. Well, we recommend For all of us, Reposado on the Tesoro as opposed to Blanco, but you're not going to go wrong on either one, to be honest with you.
I agree. I think they're both good. If you like that herby
green notes,
the green notes,
this is like a better if you like Terramana.
This is there you go.
This has a sweeter taste to me than Terramana. It doesn't taste artificial.
If you like Terramana, you'll like this more.
Because I feel like wasn't Terramana the one that had it was not
it's real
grassy.
Yeah, but didn't it have some added flavors to it? I want to say it didn't have any additives.
The Blanco doesn't.
That's right. Okay. But I remember, yes, it was very grassy. That's the first thing you said. Grass.
Well, it did. That's what it tasted like. So.
All right. Speaking of grass, is there grass growing in Yorktown?
Not much.
No?
No. It's kind of in a little dusty part.
Okay.
Of South Texas.
You know, they say when towns die, the grass will be growing in your streets.
Right. So we did a little bit of extra for the BOOZE. So John, tell us about the BOOS.
Okay. In the small South Texas town of Yorktown, which is population 1,800 to 2,000, depending on which census you look at, but a couple thousand people live there. It's about 75 miles southeast of San Antonio. And in this town sits what is most likely the most haunted building in Texas, Yorktown Memorial Hospital. Hospital was built in 1950, or construction started in 1950, opened in 1951. It was operated by a group of Roman Catholic nuns known as the Felician Sisters. I've never heard of that order, but
I have not.
It's a 30,000 square foot building. It's not a terribly large hospital, but still a pretty big building. It has administrative offices, two-story wings containing hospital rooms, an emergency department, a chapel, nuns' living quarters, a priest's living quarters, and a dank, scary murder basement.
Dank, scary murder basement.
Yeah. So the sisters ran the hospital from 1951 up until 1986, when in 86 a more modern advanced hospital opened up in the nearby town of Cuero, and that put Yorktown Memorial out of business.
In the town of what?
Cuero.
Cuero, okay.
Cuero, not Cuervo.
Okay.
Cuero.
Home
of the Texas Chupacabra.
Not Jose Cuero. Tequila.
No.
2 rounds of...
It's the town that, if you've ever seen the dash cam footage from DeWitt County Sheriff's Department, where that weird animal running down the side of the roads, they call it Chupacabra, that's Cuero.
It looked like a mangy dog or coyote or something.
Well, actually, it turns out that it was a hybrid of coyote and Mexican red wolf.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I remember this story because she did like she
stuffed
got it, and then didn't she send it off for DNA testing?
She did. She sent samples off for DNA. That's how they found out what it was. But she keeps it taxidermied in her house. There's a lady doctor who has a ranch in Cuero who, anyway.
Okay.
Side story. It's the same area of Texas.
Gotcha.
Cuero is the bigger town. There's about 3 times the population in Cuero. 6,000, 7,000 people there. So after it closed in 1986, as a hospital, it was converted into a drug rehab center.
With the morgue still there, huh?
Yep. And then for the next 6 years until its total decommissioned in 1992 when it was abandoned. But for 6 years, it was a drug rehab, an inpatient rehab center.
So it really didn't operate that long.
I mean, it was 40-something years. Or over that time period, it is said 2,000 people, around 2,000 people died on site.
What kind of hospital was this place?
How many people?
2,000.
2,000.
Oh my God.
Supposed to be healing folks in the name of the Lord.
Some of those occurred during the drug rehab period. Many of those were in the hospital. Now, prior to the one in Cuero, you'd have to go to San Antonio or Victoria to go to the hospital. So
this was your country hospital.
Probably level 10 traumas.
Well, that's like
Don't be dying because you ain't gonna live.
Don't be dying in this.
no. Well, that's like the
Some of the
guys
ones
on the
out here.
bus, the ambulance, when people were given like where I used to live, they were given an option. Do you want to go to because there was Athens or Kaufman? If you were-
ETMC Athens or
and
Kaufman.
Kaufman was some Presby or something like that at the time. I forget.
Still is, I think.
Is it? Okay.
that's
So-
probably a safer.
But it was, they gave them a choice back then. Do you want to go to Athens or do you want to die? I mean,
Really?
literally. Yes. I mean, they would ask them on
Over
the side of the road.
Presby, because I
Yeah.
used to work for Presbyterian for
Okay.
Texas Health Resources. And I
We're
can tell
talking-
you that is a stellar company.
Remember how old I am? We're talking,
Oh, dirt. Yes.
yes, we're talking 40 years ago.
Older than the red dirt of Texas.
That's right.
Yes,
right,
but
yeah.
even in the last 10 years, there's some places, even like north of 20, that
Yeah.
was identified or owned by the certain hospital group you speak of, ETMC. And
Wait, that does no longer exist. So
it doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
Which
No, it
form
doesn't.
should we have?
And there's a reason, but that they're talking about. Do you want to die?
You gonna get me in
Yeah,
trouble?
but
Because
they-
somebody at this
they
table
literally-
still works.
the
for
I said ETMC.
Literally, the ambulance would come out and pick you up from an accident and ask you, hey, you want to go to Kaufman or you want to go to Athens? And, because they were kind of like in the middle if you were at the lake, and an accident happened because you're kind of right,
Well, they-
like smack dab in the middle, and it's like, do you want to you want to go to Athens or you want to die?
Well, we used to have that one in that crappy little town, like 20 miles from Paris. And they did the same thing. Do you want to go there, or do you want to go to Paris Regional? Or
Exactly. I know where I'm picking.
Paris.
Yeah, I mean, but so
I digress.
2000. So there's not a differentiation between when it was a hospital versus a rehab center
No,
versus
that's
who
during the
died.
entire time that it was
Okay.
occupied and being in use. So, but still, you're talking that's 2,000 deaths over 40 something years, right?
That still
So
seems like a lot. Like maybe it's
it is quite a bit. I mean,
feel like, especially for a small town.
for a town like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Now there's oil field stuff going on out there, so you've got
Okay.
oil field injuries, stuff like that. I mean, but still, that's
Lots of haints.
lots of hands. Now, it's been sitting abandoned. It is privately owned, but it's been sitting abandoned, and since then, since '92, and it is said to be the most haunted location in our great state of Texas. In fact, it was named the most haunted place on Earth by the UK-based publication The Sun, beating out such famous haunts as London's Highgate Cemetery, the St. August Lighthouse in Florida, Pavia Island in Italy, the Paris Catacombs, and the Island of the Dolls in Mexico,
Oh, wow.
which is one of the freakiest places you'll ever see. So this reputation has earned it a spot on the paranormal bucket list for investigators, right up there with places like Eastern State or Waverly Hills.
You're right.
It's up
The
there with the big
Isla
boys type places.
De Muñecas.
And this has attracted investigators from all over the world, including our beloved
All hail to Zach.
Zach Baggins and the Ghost Adventures crew.
Was he afflicted there? Affected, not afflicted, affected.
We'll get to that. Also, Dakota Layden and Destination Fear. They did an episode there. Paranormal Files on YouTube. Twins Paranormal.
Love Paranormal Files.
Yeah, Colin's been there 6 times.
Oh, wow.
The 6th time is when he brought the Twins Paranormal, the Doodle Bear guys. And
I had a doodle bear.
I just say that face tattoos because I'm like, what the hell?
Do you remember the doodle bear?
No,
You
I-
had boys. You
we're
don't know
old,
the doodle
we're
bear.
old guys, so
Yeah, that never had a
No,
doodle
your
bear.
child is. She might actually be too young for a doodle bear.
there never was a Doodle Bear.
Okay.
So the reports of activity here include everything.
Name it and it's
You
there.
name it. It has been captured or recorded in this place. We're talking EVPs, knocks, bangs, sounds, footsteps, disembodied voices, disembodied moans, disembodied screams, full body apparitions, half body apparitions.
Passing gas.
Everything up up to and including physical attacks and possessions.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Flies on the wall? Insects? Any of that?
It definitely has insects inside of there and other critters of a non-paranormal nature. I've seen a couple people get freaked out by raccoon eyes in the dark.
Oh, a little trash panda.
So yeah, but if you go to YouTube and just search Yorktown Memorial Hospital, there are countless people who have videos of their investigations there. Mm-hmm. So no one's come away empty-handed.
I love this picture that I have pulled up right now. It's an old shower chair that's holding up the door. It's the shower chair, like a bariatric shower chair. I'm like, oh, that's
So, some of the stories about this place. So there were about 4 or 5 main doctors who worked there over the time period. Not a whole lot of physicists. Not like they're not running doctors through like some places we've worked.
Yes.
But one of the main practitioners there was a doctor named Leon Norwierski. Dr. Norwierski was an elderly man. In fact, he was practicing well into his 90s. By the time of his retirement, he actually had the oldest medical license in the entire state of Texas.
Love that.
Oh, wow.
Him. Yikes.
Yeah.
That's why they died.
Go Norwierski.
Well, you know what they say.
Changed.
There's two professions where people never retire, doctor and lawyer, right? Where they just keep working
right
until literally it's dangerous, which is kind of what happened here.
Hence the 2000
deaths. So I'm wondering, is this why?
Yeah. So he became known for making fatal mistakes during operations.
Oh, he's operating on people.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's
so
a
we're not
surgeon,
just seeing
not just
folks.
a doctor, not just a.
There are some names of some I'm not going to say them, some people that we probably know their names that should not be practicing for the exact same reason.
Agreed. No, agreed.
But they still are for some.
So he wasn't just an internist; he was actually a surgeon there.
Was a surgeon.
God, that's scary.
One particular procedure that is talked about by everyone is he was performing something you do on a thyroid. I don't know what the hell you would.
Thyroidectomy, probably.
Yeah, and hit the carotid artery, basically slit the patient's throat, bled out.
Oh my!
And died.
Gosh. How do you miss that? Like.
Because you're 90 something.
Yikes! Got the.
There are also allegations of him performing electroshock therapy on patients without consent.
Okay. All right.
Of course, when the hospital closed, the rest of the doctors, they all took their records home with them. So there's no way to confirm
or deny
any of this stuff. Interesting side note, after Dr. Norwierski died, he was buried in the cemetery about a mile down the road, the Holy Mount Cemetery there. Someone dug up his grave and desecrated his body.
Oh, my. Was this a upset family member?
That's the speculations. Is either upset family member or random act. Nobody knows.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Very poignant random act, if I must say.
Yeah. So now one of the most well-known spirits said to reside in the building is that of a little girl named Stacy. Now there are a couple of different versions of the Stacy story. You're going to find out there's a couple different versions of almost every story. Either she was the daughter of a nurse who the nurse couldn't find daycare, and so she spent her days at the hospital with her mother, and then she passed away, and that's the place that she was familiar with, and that's why she's there. Or she was a young patient who died on site.
They don't know.
They don't know.
Okay.
But Stacy is said to be one of those interactive and friendly spirits in the place. During life, her favorite book was the Pokey Little Puppy.
The Pokey Little Puppy.
Yeah, and she loved to have the nuns read it to her. And according to some, the book was actually a gift from none other than Dr. Norwierski, with a handwritten note inside by the doctor from him to her. In the afterlife, Stacy can be found in certain areas of the hospital. They say she could be found in her old room on the first floor, which implies that she was a patient.
Right. That would imply she's a patient.
Right. Or playing in the basement halls, which why she'd go into there, I don't know. But they say she can be enticed into appearing if you go into the little library there and read the Pokey Little Puppy. And that she is said to be interactive. You could ask her to move like toy balls and stuff, and she will move the balls.
Interesting.
There's another spirit said to roam the halls. There's a man named Doug Richards.
Oh, Doug.
Not much known about Doug, except that he was a heavy equipment operator who died there in the hospital in 1973. They say he's usually seen as a tall apparition wearing white t-shirt and jeans.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. So they're talking...
Full body apparition.
They're talking a full body apparition, not just a
Most
mist
of the
or
stuff
a-
I could find about Doug is more of a residual type thing. Not so much, not interactive like some of the other ones. Now, there is an alleged demon or dark entity, whatever you want to call it, that is said to inhabit the chapel and the intersection of the hallways. So when you walk in the front door, you go straight to the front door, past reception, administrative offices, all the way down to the hall, chapel's at the back, and then there's an intersection where the patient hallways come together. So that's supposed to be where the bad thing hangs out, at the intersection and in the chapel. It's said to be a sort of recorded growls, weird noises in the chapel, scratchings, and even at least one possession.
I was going to say, usually when you get the whole, the scratching thing.
No, I'm talking about people getting scratched.
Oh,
Like
okay.
your classic 3.
No, I'm sorry. I thought you were referring to like hearing
Well, there's
scratching
that
sounds.
too. There's that too.
So when you hear scratching sounds and growling, that's typically, those are associated with like demonic type.
Right.
Or dark entities.
And that's in what I've watched, people investigating there. That chapel's one of the most active spots. That chapel and that intersection of the hallways are like two of the most active spots.
I think it's interesting that it's the chapel and that's where the dark entity hangs out. You would think if it was a chapel, especially
There's
being
even
a Catholic chapel,
and there's the whole
it had been blessed.
altar. Now, the owners, I guess, they've got a coffin sitting in the chapel in front of the altar, probably for effect, right? But there is the giant crucifix and all that on the. It could be some sort of dark entity. Your pitiful shepherd has no hold on me. That kind of
Pre-Judeo-Christian,
pre-Christian
entity.
But there may be another reason why there is something there. We won't get to that. And then some of the nuns are known to still hang around. They're also, or at least one of them, is said to be the cause of other violent attacks on the living.
Really?
Yeah, choking, scratching, getting bum rushed.
Really?
Especially in the second floor where the nuns' quarters are. It is said that the nuns, or at least one particular nun, has an aversion to tattoos, a severe aversion to tattoos, very Leviticus. And she will almost certainly attack a tattooed male who enters the nurse's quarter, the nun's quarters.
Really?
Interesting.
She does not
almost
like
have to go now.
tattoos, and she will choke you. Well, I will say I've never seen them attacking. That you hear these stories, and well, I'll get to that. I would go. I mean, I'm not scared. I mean, she gonna hate that one?
Yeah, right.
You're fucked.
I'm screwed. I'm so
trouble.
screwed.
You're in trouble with those werewolves and priests, and monks and stuff.
Celtic tattoos and pagan
But
idolatry.
that's something is every story you read about it. The nuns hate tattoos and they'll attack you if you have tattoos. They've also been seen in other areas of the hospital, and they've even shown up in photographs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now, while we're on the nuns, I'm going to go ahead and throw out a trigger warning here. There are certain snowflakey people who might get upset by what I'm about to tell you about.
I got to start
some of the nuns.
Getting my edit pen out so that I can mark out all
No, it's not that. I mean,
tacky names.
I'm just saying, if you're
triggered easily
by certain things. So allegedly, 2 of these nuns were impregnated by the priest and then performed their own abortions on themselves and disposed of the fetuses in the incinerator in the basement. There are rumors that the priest was doing a Cosby on the nuns.
Wow, so he would roofing them,
whatever, drugging them, taking them down to his quarters, and then taking advantage of them while they were drugged. And then they became pregnant. And
so do you think the doctors hooked him up with the drugs so that he could drug them up?
I don't know, because there's also rumors of basically a back alley abortion clinic being run out of this hospital during the 50s and 60s and for cash.
Yeah.
Which in the 50s and 60s was extremely illegal. Right. Ironically, now we've come full circle and it's illegal in Texas again, but that's aside. And then this ring was found out by the Yorktown PD and shut down, right? Now, there's no way to confirm or deny this stuff because the Yorktown Police Department went out of business in 2011.
Oh.
And all the records are gone.
So is it still a town? Or
it is still an incorporated town, but now law enforcement is handled by the Cuero PD and the DeWitt County Sheriff's Office.
I was going to say, I bet it's the Sheriff's Department that
takes
care of it.
They tell you that if you have to call the police, it's either going to be Cuero PD, which if they're responding, it could be a half hour, or DeWitt County Sheriff if they're close.
Right.
Which has happened during investigations where police have been called, because this is an abandoned building at the end of a main street, right? So there's that. Take it for what you will. That's the stories being told. Now, during the time it was a drug rehab center, one night a man named TJ came to the back door seeking help for his heroin addiction. He rang they have this doorbell for after hours service, right? And you ring. It's a very ornate doorbell too. It's a very fancy thing like that. And he rang the doorbell. No one answered. He was found by the entrance the next morning, dead from an heroin overdose. Now there is a second version of this story which says that it actually happened when it was a hospital and he had already overdosed and his friends dumped him and either rang the doorbell or they did not. Either way, they found TJ's lifeless
body,
heroin overdosed body at the door the next morning, and he has said still roam the halls around by the entrance.
So you know what really happened? His buddies are like, dude, you ain't dying in my car. You go in the hospital and you can die there.
There's 2 versions of that story, and that's probably the more likely. Now, the most violent incident, maybe, there are rumors of other stuff, but the most violent incident occurred allegedly during the drug rehab period. There's 2 versions of the story. One is that a female drug counselor was having an affair with 2 different male patients.
Okay.
That did not know about each other.
Okay.
She was having a tryst with one, we'll call it a tryst, in the basement. When the other one found out about it, got a knife from the kitchen.
Oh, gosh.
Went down there, caught him in the act, stabbed her repeatedly, then stabbed the other man, and then the male victim was able to wrestle the knife away from the attacker and kill him with it before he died himself. Version number 2 is it was a female nurse having an affair with a male coworker. Her husband found out about it
and came in.
He comes down there, catches them in the act in the basement, kills both of them, and then self-deletes himself with the knife.
Interesting.
Either way,
I like that self-deletes.
well, because you can't say
I
that
know,
other
you
word
can't
on.
say
Oh, you
that
do for
word.
some inexplicable. I can tell you about a gory murder, but I can't tell you about a self.
What trips me out is I can say he unalived himself.
He unalived.
He removed himself from the physical plane.
So those are the two versions of that story. Either version, the blood spatter is still on the wall in the basement.
Oh, for real?
And it has been sent off for forensic testing, and it is indeed human blood. So the stains from that murder are literally in the fiber of the building.
Yeah.
That's the dank murder basement.
Yeah, but that is the dank murder basement. It's a no from me.
Something happened to cause big human blood stains to be on the wall in that basement.
Do they have pictures?
Yeah. Or you can see in the video. I mean, you can go watch one of the episodes of people investigating this or whatever. You can see the blood stains. It's fascinating to me. They claim they've sent it off and it is confirmed to human blood. Now, there is an isolation room on one of the wings that was used during the drug rehab period as for patients suffering from severe withdrawal. Allegedly padded during the day. Back in the day, whatever. And allegedly they wouldn't give any kind of medication to ease the withdrawal. They just put them in the padded room.
I actually knew a doctor like that, so I totally believe that, especially that long ago, I believe that could happen because I knew a doctor.
It wasn't that long ago, though, for the rehab part.
Well, we're
In the 80s.
86 to 92.
Yeah, so, but
I guess.
I knew a doctor that literally would withhold medication from detoxing patients until they would seize a lot of times. They would have seizures. And he did it because he wanted them to suffer and remember the suffering so they would be less prone to get back on the drugs again. Or alcohol.
I mean, I'm familiar with a drug rehab that is a drug-free rehab, but if someone is coming off severe alcohol or methadone,
yeah, they should be medically detoxed before they get there.
They
anyway.
send them to a med detox first. Now,
and they should be.
But just straight heroin? No. No, you're going to tough it out.
Right.
But they didn't take their bed sheets away from them. So it's either 2 or 3, depending on who's telling the story. People have self-deleted in that room. In addition to that, for some reason, there is an iron cage.
I saw the picture of the iron cage.
That looks like an Old West, old-timey jail cell.
Yes, it does.
That allegedly was used as a bit of a chill-out room for unruly rehab patients.
Interesting.
I mean, it looks exactly like something you'd see in an old-timey jail. It's that big iron cage about half the size of this room.
Yeah.
So that's there.
Yeah, I mean...
no one deleted themselves. I haven't heard any stories of anybody deleting themselves in the cage, but the fact that they were locked in that cage could create quite a bit of negative energy. Now probably the most speculative or dubious story is that there was a janitor named Charles, I believe is the name, who lived on site. There was a room, I believe a third floor room. There's only one room on the third floor. And that he had seen so many of the things that was going on with the doctors and stuff, and he had threatened to go to the authorities, and that he was murdered chopped to bits, and the bits thrown in the basement incinerator along with all the fetuses, whatever. Yeah. So there's that story as well. Take that for what you will.
Jeez.
So, it's also a host of many other unidentified spirits and apparitions, everything from orbs to shadow men, pretty much everything at some point or other has been caught on camera or video or audio recording there. Shadows frequent the halls, disembodied moans, disembodied screams. I've heard a lot of those and watching stuff over this. Lots of disembodied screams. Babies crying from the labor. There's a little labor delivery department there, and the table with the steel table with the, what do you call them, the stirrups is still there, which is probably also where the other illegal things were being performed. Also children's laughter, you name it.
You hear everything.
Yeah. So, some pretty famous investigators have been to this place.
Okay.
Family, the GOAT, the OG, not really the OG, but the second OG, Zach and the gang investigated this in 2011. It's Ghost Adventures Season 5, Episode 4, if you want to watch it. And they got quite a bit of evidence. Within a few minutes of locking the doors behind them, they're doing the EVP burst session. Asking burst session is what he calls it. So it's a real time EVP thing where you ask some questions with it running, and then you play it back. You don't wait to get home to listen to it all at once. You on site, right? Within just a couple of minutes, they have an EVP, a very clear, crystal clear. You want to play? Or it sounds like you want to play. Within the first couple of minutes, I mean, they're literally in the entrance.
Jeez.
In the foyer. They go down to the dank murder basement, and they leave a static camera pointed at, and a digital voice recorder sitting there right by the bloodstains. And then they leave it there while they're going off doing their other stuff. While that thing is sitting there by itself, it records an entire sentence. It must be told, and I'll tell them you did it. And it's clear as day.
Oh, wow.
It must be told, and I'll tell them you did it. Like that.
Oh, wow.
They're not down there.
Yeah.
So that was pretty compelling. And then, of course, Zach being Zach, and he's got odd tattoos.
Goes into the nunnery.
Takes his shirt, strips down shirtless.
Of course he does.
He has that one demon-looking thing to commemorate his being affected at Pavia Island in Italy by, this says the entity that he saw. And he goes up there, strips down shirtless. He's got to show off his Zach pack. His muscles and stuff, because this is 2011. He was in really good shape at the time.
I was gonna say back then he would have been,
and he's walking around up there like, you like these? What do you think about these tattoos? I've heard you don't like tattoos. Well, look at this one. What do you think about this one? And the digital voice recorder caught a voice say, "It's sick."
oh wow.
And then a voice comes over the Ovilus, thing, the little talking box, and saying, "Listen, think." And Zach's like, "So think about what? What do you want me to think about?" And then there's nothing for a couple minutes. So he starts putting his shirt on. They're going to go back somewhere else, and then the box is still sitting there. Goes, "Jesus."
Oh.
So, listen, think about Jesus. Because he does have this demon-looking thing tattooed on his back. So that's pretty interesting. He, of course, sends Aaron down alone into the dank murder basement.
What?
Of course he does.
He always says that.
Always sends Aaron to the scariest place in the building.
Rank has its privilege.
Yeah. You would think he would have some privilege after all these years.
Oh, no.
No.
As being the only one of the original, the OG group, still be around. But he goes down there. He's got the Ovilus and the digital voice recorder. The Ovilus says, hurry, hide. And then they go back and review later the DVR, and seconds after it said hurry and hide on the Ovilus, the voice recorder captured an EVP saying, the killer is coming, get to the hallway. The killer is coming, get to the, like, clear Class A.
Oh, wow.
Killer is coming, get to the hallway.
Yeah. So Zach also interviewed one of the doctors that used to work at the hospital, one of the surviving doctors, Dr. Barth. Dr. Barth said that, he was a skeptic and he never saw much, but one time he was taking a nap in the doctor's lounge outside of the ER during a long ER shift, and when he woke up, he saw the figure of another doctor who had passed away. I'm assuming Dr. Nowierski, but he didn't name him, standing in the corner staring at him.
That'd be trippy.
And he said, every time that I had to work a shift and spend the night after that, always open my eyes a little bit of time, pick over the corner, make sure he wasn't there.
So was this Dr. Barth?
Dr. Barth is Saul.
Was that his first name?
That's his last name.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't like Barth Synthon.
No. It's Dr. Barth. Barth is the doctor's, it's his surname.
Okay, gotcha. I just had to do that.
So this is also the famous or infamous Zach gets chased by a donkey episode.
I have seen that, actually.
There's a GIF out there. You can just Google Zach Bagans chased by a donkey GIF, and you should probably put it in the video.
Yeah.
So he's searching for Mike. So Mike is the old caretaker. Mike is no longer the caretaker of this property. Too. And he's walking around. He's hollered for Mike's name, right? He goes around to the side towards the back. He's Mike. Not finding Mike, so he's turning around. He's walking back towards the camera, and he hears something behind him, and you can see that it's a donkey coming up. Not run, no, not that hot, just normal donkey trot. Okay. Cute little donkey,
donkey trot.
A donkey trot.
He looks back, and I swear it looks like he's running from a grizzly bear. He covers like 30 yards, and all the rest of them are just laughing their asses off at him.
He probably thought it was a demon.
Probably thought it was a demon, but it was...
Because everything probably
It was just a donkey.
Probably thought it was a demon.
It was Spirit the donkey. Spirit was a donkey's
name. That's the
name.
Spirit the donkey.
It was Mike's pet. Mike's an interesting thing. Mike lived on site in a camper parked in front of the place. And there are stories that Mike would wander around at night through the place by himself, talking to the spirits and stuff, like every night. And
Mike needs a friend.
Well, he had
Spirit
the donkey. But Mike also, if you've ever watched it, Mike looks like he's had either an extremely hard life or he's been using a lot of methamphetamine and walking around the hospital at night talking to. And I think Mike finally left, and the current caretaker has mentioned before, just the previous caretaker, not mentioning him by name, but had gotten to where he would just hand keys to somebody and walk away. And I even saw that a San Antonio news crew was there, and the reporter said, well, we were supposed to get a tour, but he just unlocked the place and walked away, and you see Mike on camera like just walking back. I think Mike was on site so much and probably substance abusing and interacting with the spirits constantly that he was on the verge of going full Jack Torrance. That's a Shining reference. And so he left, and now they have different caretakers. But
of his own accord, or they don't say?
Not sure.
Gotcha.
But that it's just like we were talking about, when you delve into things that you probably shouldn't be delving into, like we were when we talked about the Zozo demon, the Zozo episode that we did, where over and over and over this guy was playing with this Ouija board, trying to interact with Bon Scott, and
think about.
And you're in this hospital with no telling what in there, over and over every night, and you're on.
And you're probably I can't disparage him by saying for sure he was, right. But the look.
Oh, well, we all know the look,
and he had the look.
Yeah, so
it was not the look of a healthy lifestyle.
Well, it's kind of like if it looks like a duck and walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, then it's probably a duck.
And if you can imagine, so you put yourself in that state of mind, the not sleeping and spending your nights walking around interacting with
God knows
what's in that place, can take a toll. And anyway,
no.
So thankfully, the donkey was the only thing to affect his act during that episode. He was not attacked when he was upstairs tattooed. Nothing happened except for the recordings they got, but he was not physically attacked.
They didn't see any demons.
The nuns didn't choke him, or
no, nuns didn't choke him. Nothing like that happened at all. But they did get a lot of pretty cool, and they did get a partial thermal, what appears to be an apparition on the FLIR, but it's one of those where I'm not sure.
It's a reflection, or
yeah. But the audio recordings are impressive, very impressive. And the donkey, that part alone is worth spending 43 minutes of your time watching season 5, episode 4 of Ghost Adventures. So much more recently, former Zach Bagans protege, Dakota Layden, and with Destination Fear, his show. And their spiel is, okay, we do interviews, we do walkthrough, and then we split up to the 4 scariest places in here, and we each spend the night alone on a cot. So they went there in 2020. It's, if you want to watch it, it's season 2, episode 2. They interview Stephanie, who's one of the current caretakers. Now, she is the one who was possessed by a potential, you want to call it dark entity, demon, whatever, that the one that's said to reside in the chapel. Now, according to her and her husband Eddie, who is also one of the caretakers, her eyes went all white. She dropped to the floor and appeared to be being dragged by an invisible force, and she was spewing blood and bile out of her mouth, and she was out and unconscious. She woke up in the hospital 2 hours later. Came out of it, right? Mm-hmm. Now, one thing about Stephanie, as Eddie puts it, she looks like the Sistine Chapel gone wrong. She's covered in tattoos. Not a very nice thing to say about your wife, but
no,
it's all in good humor, right? He said, I like it, but so they interviewed her, and you can see she is affected by it, right?
Yeah.
And she still won't go. She won't go to the place now.
No doubt. If you
want to reserve, she's the person you'll talk to if you want to go there. But it's Eddie that does the tours and stuff. So, in an interview with Texas Highways magazine, Stephanie said, this is a quote, "A lot of awful things went on here. This place freaks me out. The vibe's not good. Once you shut those doors and get in there, you forget there's even anything beyond this hospital."
I'm pretty sure that I would remember that I had a car parked out in the front, but whatever.
Well,
I'm just saying.
They also interviewed the owner of the property. Is a a woman named her name is Joanne Rivera, and she also happens to own the also haunted Black Swan Inn in Victoria, Texas. And she actually met them in Cuero. She didn't even go there to the place to meet them.
Oh, really?
He says that even though she owns this building and she's been involved in the paranormal for many years, she will not set foot in the place by herself, day or night.
Do not blame her.
But you know what? Plenty of people do, all the time.
Oh, I'm sure.
So they're there. They're doing their initial walkthrough and investigation before they split up to do their sleeping by themselves thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in the chapel, and their ovulus says, "Run." And Tanner, he's the bald one. I don't know if you watch this show.
I haven't watched Destination Fear.
It's okay. It's good. It's good until the spending the night alone part. Then it gets a little repetitive because, anyway. But they go to some of the major hot spots,
Mm-hmm.
And then they always try to one up it on each other, like no flashlights, stuff like that. Completely in the dark the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But
which I don't care what house you're sitting in or what room you're in. If you're without any light at all,
you're gonna start seeing stuff
all night long. It's freaky and it's scary,
Yeah.
And God forbid you're in some place with haints in it. I'm sure it is scary.
Or this horribly cute spirited donkey. He's adorable.
He is. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's just so cute.
You've never spent any time around donkeys, have you?
I have, but this one's cute.
Yeah, they're not cute.
This one's cute.
They are cute. We used to have donkeys and goats. I like them.
Look, Spirit's a little brown, white-nosed donkey.
You ever been kicked by a donkey?
No.
You ever been bit by a donkey?
No.
Zach almost got kicked by a
God.
donkey because he tried to come up behind it to pet it on its haunch, and it reared up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they're at the chapel. The obviously says run.
They don't run, do they?
No.
Of course not.
Tanner asks them, "Why do you want us to run? What are we running from?" And they're also doing burst style EVP, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they play it back, and right after he asked that question, the reply comes over the DVR: "Run away." But they're like, whoa, play that again.
Yeah.
And when they go to play it again, you hear him say, "Why do you want us to run?" But the reply is gone. Gone.
Gone.
What in the hell's happening?
That's her phone.
Sorry. I'm not looking at it. I just got to know.
I know.
I've only seen, and I watch a lot of these shows and stuff, and I've only seen that once before. It was an episode of Ghost Adventures where there was an EVP,
And then
then they play it back, and then it's gone.
I've never
before.
known that happens.
I've actually had that happen.
Have you to yourself?
Yeah. It's like where I recorded one, absolutely heard it, stored it, went back to look at it. It was months later, but it wasn't there anymore.
No, this was on the spot.
Yeah, no,
right there in front of him.
I don't know how that happens, but it just
Played
disappeared.
it was there. You hear him say, "Run from what?" "Run away."
Mm-hmm.
Rewind. "Run from what?"
Nothing
there.
Interesting.
They were in the priest quarters, and
So let me interrupt for a second because I just thought about something. What if when you ask it, "Run from what?" Okay, and you have this sound coming through the recorder, right? Real time.
that wasn't real time.
No, I'm saying they played it back.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So you're hearing it real time come through the recorder.
Okay.
What you recorded where it said, "Run from what?" Right. And you're expecting a response, and it uses the static and the sound so that you're actually hearing "run away" real time. It's not recorded already.
Oh, okay.
You're actually hearing it real time.
Yeah.
So then when you play it back,
It's gone.
It's gone because it wasn't recorded when you heard it the first time. It was actually real time.
Interesting.
Could be. Hadn't thought about that. I thought that's weird. Why would that disappear? If that's actually
because it wasn't recorded.
Interesting.
It's true. It's just I just got to flip back and forth between the Ovilus and this other device to talk, right? So anyway, they're in the priest quarters, which is one of the more active spots, by the way. The priest quarters. It's kind of a shitty room with a crappy looking hotel bed in it. Mm-hmm. But God knows what went on.
Well, apparently, a lot of things weren't supposed to.
God knows what kind of Bill Cosby stuff went on that hotel.
I was going to say, somebody getting freaky with the nuns there.
Yeah. And they ask, which I think this is a silly question to ask, but they ask, are you good or are you evil? Why? I think it's a silly question. If it was actually some sort of dark entity, wouldn't it say, I'm good?
I'm good, baby. I'm good.
Right? I'm the friendliest. I'm Casper, right?
Right. You should invite me in. I'm good.
Yeah. So the reply they get on the voice recorder, it says, I'm evil. I'm just trying to have a good time. Now, the word before evil is not clear. And to my ear, it sounded more like, not evil, just trying to have a good time. Which, this is the priest quarters. Just trying to have a good time.
Right.
That's what I got out of that. They, of course, interpreted it completely different. But, these things are always up to interpretation, right?
Ones I've seen are for sure.
Then they go out, they do their separate things where they spend the night. Not much happens. Dakota's sitting on his cot. None of them sleep. And he's got a REM pod sitting about 10, 12 feet away from him. And it goes off. And he literally is like, nope, not today. And he goes over there and turns the REM pod off. And he goes back, gets on the cot. It's like, nope.
So it's got to be spooky or you lose your syndication, You lose your contract.
They did anyway.
Right.
But they say Zach took it away from him.
The all-powerful.
So, Paranormal Files, Colin, Texas boy, he's been there 6 times. I did not watch all 6 of them because he does really, he publishes 2-3 hour long videos.
Yeah, I was going to say his are long.
They're very long. He does a fantastic job.
Absolutely.
But I only had a week to do it.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
There's a new episode out called The Sally House that I was going to watch today, but it's 3 hours long, but it's supposed to be the scariest place you've ever been. Very demonic. It's supposed to be a demon situation. But what you looking at?
Nothing.
Oh.
He's making sure he doesn't hit his mic.
Oh, okay.
What?
When you moved your computer.
Oh.
Now he has been scratched before, and I'm not talking about baby scratches. I'm talking your 3 scratches down his back, through his shirt, under his shirt, and bleeding through his shirt.
At this place.
Aggressively scratched.
Was he in the nuns'
in the
quarters?
chapel, I believe. Actually, he is heavily tattooed, but believe this happened in the chapel,
where the demon is said to reside.
Yeah. Now, the last time he went there, this was last year. In fact, he took Twins Paranormal there, and they give you the full tour, the full video of Eddie's tour. And Eddie is fantastic. Eddie's great. Eddie is the husband of Stephanie, who was possessed, right? So she will not come. She used to do tours. She will not set foot in there anymore.
Right.
But she is the person who takes your reservations and stuff. But Eddie does your tours. Eddie told them that some folks from California with Travel Channel had come there and had specifically broken the rules that Stephanie had laid out specifically the rule about Ouija boards and them not allowed in the building. And he wouldn't say who it was, but he did specify it was not Ghost Adventures. It was not Zach. But he said that after that Ouija board was used in there, he and Stephanie started experiencing things that they had never experienced in there before, and the nature of the haunting or the vibe in there changed quite a bit.
Oh, wow.
So I'm presuming that this was before what happened to her happened to her. So I don't know who that would be, because I can't imagine Dakota, those guys doing it, and I couldn't find any other people from Travel Channel who had been there, so I'm not sure who he's talking about. But he says someone used a Ouija board in there.
How does he know? If it's against the rules, I guess they said it.
I'm assuming that it was broadcast, that they decided to watch it later and saw him using a Ouija board.
Oh, I see. Duh.
Self-evident.
Yeah. Eddie also said that on more than one occasion in the basement, because there have been issues, as you can imagine, with people breaking into this place, he found evidence of ritual activity. Pentagrams drawn on the floor, a pentagram, big pentagram on the floor, dead, gutted raccoon in the middle of it,
Oh, no.
and a skinned, what appeared to be a dog. But he said he has had to bury multiple dead animals. A couple of times he's had to clean up blood sacrifice ritual stuff that went on in the basement. And he has like a ritual he goes through to cleanse the place with sage and one of those zing bells, and so that stuff is going on down there.
Interesting.
But I wanted to point out that watching Eddie's tour is fantastic, right? If you're in the area and you just want to do the little daytime tour thing,
I think that's the one I'm here for. I'm here for the daytime.
If you're a wimp and you just want to do the daytime tour thing,
Wimp.
Me.
Eddie's tour is fantastic and is fabulously reviewed.
Okay. Go see Eddie.
People love Eddie. And he does a great job. I mean, he probably adds a little color commentary that might not necessarily be 100% accurate, but
makes for an exciting
he
tour.
does make it extremely entertaining,
Right.
And he says that his first night in there, because he does mention that the previous caretaker, that would be Mike, got to the point where he wouldn't vet, he wouldn't nothing. He just hand the keys over and say, "Here you go," walk away, right? And he said his first night there, Eddie's first night there, he was going to clean up the kitchen because the kitchen had been trashed by someone who'd come in there, right? And, so he started working on that, and he starts hearing banging and footsteps and all sorts of noises. And he finally said, fuck it, I'm turning he has hearing aids. He said, well, I'm turning them off. He turned his hearing aids off so he couldn't hear it, so he could get to finish the job. And then someone had told him, I think it was Joanne, the owner, told him, said, no, you got to go in there, introduce yourself, tell them what you're doing, that you mean no harm, that you're here to take care of the place and keep it up for them. And so he said he felt really stupid doing this, but he went in there and did it. And he said ever since then, they pretty much leave him alone. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have to turn his hearing aids off or anything to work in there. All that banging and the noises and all that stopped.
Huh.
Made buddies with him.
He made friends with it. Well, they could tell he was taking care of the place. Also, he has no tattoos.
Oh, well, there you go. See, the nuns like him.
Yeah. So their investigation, it was pretty active in the chapel. Very strange noises, like
they're
out of nowhere. The twins and Colin.
Okay,
because they were all there together. Sound just in the middle of the air.
Interesting.
In the ether there in the chapel. They would hear, the normal knocks, disembodied voices. And also the sound of like a gurney wheel or a wheelchair, like that. Mm-hmm. That always residual abandoned hospital sound.
They always hear them.
Yeah. They also used motion balls, the kitty balls, and he clearly had something coming down the hall towards them, coming to the REM pod, and then back down, right?
Yeah.
But their money shot was when one of them, they're twins, so I don't know if it's Ryan or River, I don't know, they look exactly alike, but was doing a TikTok while they were.
Oh my!
The other one was setting up cameras and stuff and shooting B-roll, and he was in the chapel doing a TikTok. So you've got a situation like, "Hey guys, it's me. I'm here at the Yorktown Memorial Hospital." Like this growl, like as if something is in between him and the phone. And it was real because you could see it just about scared the face tattoos off that kid.
Bless him.
And
scared the face tattoo.
It was as if some unseen something was in between me and this phone this far away, growling. So he heard, it wasn't just caught by the audio on the phone.
Oh,
it was in the room.
Well.
Yeah, he heard
Real
it as
time.
well, and like what the, so that was their. Which they turned that into the clickbaity title, "Demon Caught on Camera," which you're thinking, oh, we're going to see. Like, no, that was the demon caught on camera part. But anyway, pretty interesting. So there's dozens of other ones. You can go on YouTube. I just watched some people from Australia or New Zealand. They're down under accents who had come all the way, and they were doing the hot spots in the U.S., and that was on their bucket list of hot spots. And so they did a very interesting,
so cool
investigation there. You can do tours. You can book tours of the place, or you can do overnight.
No, see, daytime tour with Eddie for one.
Well, you still get the Eddie tour. See, if you do the overnight,
I get it. I get the Eddie tour.
you get it sundown to sunup, and you get the Eddie tour.
Well,
It's a twofer.
It's a twofer.
You can take my overnight ticket while I hit up the daylight one.
And from what I understand, I couldn't find, like, they don't have a website, they have a Facebook page for it, and with the phone numbers to call, and it's Stephanie who you'd be talking to when you call. But it's, I think, $500 for an overnight. But you have the place to yourself. Eddie does not stay. Eddie gives you the tour.
Eddie
gives you the tour, and he says,
bye.
all right, good luck.
Bye, Felicia.
See you in the morning.
Bye.
Now, is Eddie from Texas?
I'm not sure. He lives in San Antonio. Eddie and Stephanie live in San Antonio.
So they don't live on the...
Ooh, hell no. They live in San Antonio.
So-
He drives down for this stuff. Yeah.
I got you.
Did Mike take Spirit, the donkey?
Yeah, there's no more donkey on site. No more on-site donkey. Oh, I forgot to. So actually, one of the things that happened to Colin on their fifth trip, the fifth and what was supposed to be the final trip, but then they ended up hooking up with the twins for a sixth trip. An actual live person, people trying to break into the building while they're in,
Oh, God.
which is maybe the scariest thing.
Yeah, no
Oh,
kidding,
wow.
right?
Because they're like, somebody's trying to get the door. Somebody's trying to get the front door. They're in the chapel and they hear the front door banging, and you hear this voice, "Let me in." So they go up to the second floor for the open window where they can look down on them, and they're yelling at them, "Hey, we've rented the place for the night." And they're like, "Oh, let us in, let us in." And
No, you may not.
and they had put the chain. There was like
Shall not pass.
the chain wasn't locked, but there was a chain you could put like a hotel door right on the front doors, and they are pushing against that chain. So one of them is calling the police, and Colin is in there.
They're like drunk teenagers or something? Or?
You couldn't ever see them. You can see their car. You can see the headlights of their car and stuff. And he's like telling them, "Hey, we're calling the police. One of us is on the phone with the police right now. Are you for real?" Like, yes. And finally, after some of that, you see them fire up the car, and they leave, and literally the cops show up like right after they leave.
Wow.
So that may be the scariest thing actually.
That would be scary.
Yeah, especially if you're not strapped.
Right.
Stay strapped.
It's Texas after all.
Yeah. So
Still the Wild West.
anyway, I think it's $500 for an overnight, but I don't think there's a limit on people. You know how some places, you can
have X amount of people.
Oh, in your group, you mean there's not a limit?
There's no limit, but I mean, you probably.
Of course, you wouldn't want a whole bunch of people.
No, you wouldn't want more than 6 in this place. I mean, 30,000 square feet, 6 investigators.
Yeah.
One for every 5,000 square feet.
Well, yeah. Good at math.
Yeah.
Jeez, a whiz.
Not really.
So Yorktown it's about an hour 15, hour 20 from San Antonio. And of course, San Antonio has its amazing Mexican food, the Riverwalk, and its own haunted hotels.
Lots of them.
Right?
Like the dear old Emily Morgan.
It basically makes a triangle. You've got San Antonio, Lockhart, which is the Mecca, the Vatican, the center of the earth
Vatican
for
City.
Texas barbecue.
Oh.
That is home to Smitty's, Black's, and Cruise Market. 3 of the most legendary, greatest barbecue places in the world.
I did not know that.
And then the other leg of the triangle is Yorktown. And they're all about a little over an hour from each other.
Oh, cool.
So
you could go down and make a long weekend.
Trip out of it's what I'm thinking. An overnight at the Yorktown.
Or daytime with Eddie.
I ain't scared.
I am.
I mean, I would go. I'd do
Especially possessions and stuff.
I mean,
there's still electricity there because I have to have my CPAP.
Oh, I wouldn't sleep there.
Oh no.
Hell no! Driving back to San Antonio, or
what if you get tired?
I mean, you can sleep on the priest bed.
I'm sleeping in the car. I mean, that's I can fix that real quick.
I don't know if I'd want to sleep in the car after seeing people trying to break into the building.
Oh yeah, no.
In there.
I don't know that I'd want to sleep in the nuns' quarters either. Not as tatted up as I am.
And there's a couple of other beds, or you could sleep on that labor and delivery table.
With the stirrups, put them up.
Or the surgical.
Negative Ghost Rider. Not happening.
They have a morgue.
And again, no.
One of the drawers.
Yeah.
No.
It's dark.
No, I think you've been.
There's a confessional.
Yeah, there's a confessional in the chapel.
Yeah, I ain't going nowhere near a confessional.
You go sleep with a confessional.
You could sleep on the pews.
Yeah, pews.
In the chapel.
With the demon.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could get a room in Cuero at the Holiday Inn Express or the Fairmont, or whatever, because 20 minutes away in Cuero, there's plenty of lodging.
Okay.
There's not many places to stay in Yorktown, but or you could spend
San Antonio's got plenty of places.
3 or 4 hours there, take the hour drive back to San Antonio.
Yeah, I was going to say,
and find you something else.
You got the Crockett, you got
Emily
Morgan,
Minger.
You got the Minger.
Yeah,
famous haunted.
So make a great long weekend thing, and then you could do the Lockhart thing.
British barbecue. You run over for lunch.
At Cruise Market. I mean, Cruise Market is that place with the that 80-year-old woman that's a pit master that's still going every day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been there.
But anyway, so when are we going? Because I'm down.
Yeah, that sounds like a fun weekend.
Yeah, would you do 3 or 4 hours overnight in that place in the middle of the night?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Ghost hunting?
Yeah,
God,
sure.
I would too. Yeah, I'm not.
Scary.
Nah, I didn't.
I'm not going to the dank basement.
I'll go in the murder basement.
I went to that 2-story dilapidated old building in Kemp, Texas. Man, I'll go anywhere.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't go back there. So it was that was the most haunted place I think I've ever been. So.
And it's burnt down though, so we can't.
Yeah, it's burnt down, so we can't go.
Can't go back. But so anyway, that's Yorktown Memorial Hospital.
Wow, and it's got to be the most haunted place in the world. Says
the Sun.
Mm-hmm.
The Sun magazine. Yeah,
but
they're Brits. What do they know?
Well, but they were covered by the Texas Highways. I mean, that's a legit magazine for anybody that travels in Texas. Like they're a very good publication.
Every news channel in San Antonio, Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston area, they've all done stories on this place. It's a world famous, like I said, bucket list place for paranormal investigators.
Right.
I could see why.
Okay, so we had what do we have tonight? We had the Blanco
Tesoro,
tonight. El Tesoro,
Blanco, and Reposado.
And the Reposado beats out the Blanco in my
all
mind.
3 of us, but neither one is a bad tequila.
No,
I mean the Blanco is not a bad tequila.
And we definitely should do a weekend. And
there's tequila bars in San Antonio too. They involved in tequila.
Some good tequila bars.
Yeah,
we've actually hit a few of them. Oh, that's very, very, very interesting. That was a good one, John.
Yeah, I'm excited
Love
because
that.
it's 5 hours from here.
It's doable for us.
It is a
Yes.
doable thing. Yeah.
You know, it's not like we can go take the weekend off and go to the Stanley or something. You
I
know?
mean, if from here to the Yorktown, from my house, from the Yorktown to the Memorial Hospital is 5 hours, 20 minutes.
yeah,
There you go.
That's
it's doable.
which is if you're don't live in Texas, you don't realize that's not that far.
Exactly.
When you're from Texas, if the drive is 4 hours or less, that's about
yeah,
normal.
that's doable.
Yeah.
All right, that's very good. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good night.
Good night.
Nighty night.
Sweet dreams.
Yeah.
Run away.
Run away. The killer is
There's something freaky about old Catholic dilapidated hospitals.
Can you
Hey,
imagine?
don't rest those up there if you would. Please,
Can you
because
imagine-
I want to try to maintain the integrity of these locks.
Imagine if Christus Trinity Mother